You don't have to draw a perfectly straight line to create the illusion of a straight line. So that's the topic of today's video, and I want to show you this sketch that I drew a few days ago. So this was actually drawn on a phone, which was quite small, and the display of the phone was quite slippery, so it was quite difficult for me to draw straight lines. So you can see the lines, they are slightly wobbly, and this straight line here is very wobbly, and some of these lines are just really shaky. But the thing is, if you look at this sketch from afar after it's done, all those wobbly lines, they still look straight enough. And this sketch actually looks good in my opinion. It has the sketchy look and feel that I like. You know how sometimes when your lines are too straight, your sketch can look a bit stiff? So when it comes to drawing straight lines, I would say don't worry too much about it. Just make sure the lines are going in the direction that you want. A little bit of wobble and jitter doesn't really matter. Right, let's do a quick sketch of another subject with straight lines. This is also a vehicle. So as I draw, I don't really think about a straight line. I just think about the shapes, and I also try to connect or join the lines. Make sure there is no opening. My tripod is actually right in front of the sketchbook, so it's not easy for me to control the lines, but it doesn't matter because, as mentioned, you don't really need to draw those perfect straight lines. If you draw fast, you can actually draw straighter lines, but if you draw slow, for me, my lines tend to wobble more when I draw slower. Oops, this line is off. The perspective here is a bit off, but it's alright. So let me just continue. Sometimes if you try to fix the mistake, it may actually make the mistake worse. So let me continue with the sketch. You can change your hand's position to draw straighter lines, or you can rotate your sketchbook to draw straighter lines. If I draw like this, if I pull the pen like this, my lines are usually not that straight. So to draw a straighter line, you actually have to move your whole hand and not your wrist. If you have difficulty drawing straight lines, definitely practice by moving your whole hand rather than your wrist. When it comes to drawing small details, you can move your wrist and draw those small details, but when you want to draw long straight lines, it's good to move your whole hand. And here I'm going to try and make the lines a bit more wobbly than usual, intentionally, just to show you the effect of wobbly lines. If your lines are too wobbly, well, obviously it's not that great, but slight wobble or slight jitter with the lines is perfectly fine. And there is the charm of hand-drawn sketch, which you get with wobbly lines. So as mentioned earlier, if your lines are too straight, sometimes your art can look very stiff. And one of the reasons why people like to sketch is because, or look at sketches, is because you get that hand-drawn quality. The shapes that you draw, the structure or the form that you draw must still be recognizable even if your lines are shaky. If you're trying to draw a rectangle, the rectangle should still look like a rectangle even if your lines are wobbly. Let's draw the wheels. This is not easy. Let me draw some texture on the wheel. So this is obviously not the pattern on the tire, I'm just improvising. I mean, with drawing, you can use your artistic impression to change certain things. Alright, let me add some grays to enhance the sketch. Alright, done.